Jake opens his eyes, then slowly closes them. It's been 6 years since the destruction of the home tree and the time of great sadness. His thoughts drift to the exiled RDA employees returning to Earth after a long cryosleep. Would that have been his fate if he had remained human? What would have happened to the Na'vi? Jake opens his eyes. Here and now is more pressing. Neytiri is pregnant with their second child, and while her first pregnancy was uneventful, this one is not. Their first child, a girl named Niatu, is 5, roughly the equivalent of a 14-year-old human. The jungle is unforgiving, and maturing quickly is an evolutionary necessity. Niatu is already a skilled hunter, just like her mother. And like her father, she is headstrong. Being unorthodox gives her an edge over other Na'vi youth, but her rebellious attitude puts her at odds with the tribe's mainstream. Even with the RDA gone, life for the Na'vi remains provisional because finding a permanent home tree has remained elusive. Over the years, the clan has been rejected by other home trees, and the Omaticaya have no guidance in their songs for such losses. The instability strains the clans along generational lines, the elders increasingly believing that the clan must purify itself through strict traditional observances, a kind of penance. They also want all the humans and their technology gone from Pandora for good. Only then, they believe, will Eywa guide them to their permanent home tree. Some of the younger generation, impressionable children at the time of the home tree's destruction, believe that the humans' science and technology may hold the answer to the home tree dilemma, and ultimately, a restored Omaticaya. The childhood traumas sustained during the Great Conflict and the loss of the home tree have left an indelible mark on the youth. The humans' science, technology, and culture are approached with a mix of fear, curiosity, and respect. But talk of this and possession of any human artifacts are discouraged amongst the clan. Caught in the middle of the ongoing strain are Jake and Neytiri. The couple form part of the smallest generation, as many of the Na'vi their age were killed in the conflict with the RDA. Nevertheless, though small in numbers, their group, headed by Jake, is entrusted with the interim responsibility of leadership. Jake knows that when their permanent home tree is found, he will become the official leader of the Omaticaya. He needs that position in order to apply for Autonomous Planetary Status, or APS, for Pandora. The application must be filed with the IU, the Interplanetary Union, an organization devoted to enacting and administrating interplanetary law. The IU is housed in a space station perpetually on the move through sectors represented in the Assembly. But as per IU regulations, only a legitimate clan leader with regional backing can file an application for autonomy. And only when Pandora is recognized as an autonomous planet will Jake be able to submit an official request for control of the planet's exploratory leases. As the only living Toruk Makto, Jake knows he can get the support of the other clans. But when it comes to the humans, Jake knows he'll need help from the human sympathizers on Pandora to move the APS application forward. Hence, expelling the humans from Pandora is out of the question for now. With RDA's departure, survival of the human outpost hung in the balance as its operational budget evaporated. After a legal battle, the remaining RDA assets were acquired by a non-profit cooperative sympathetic to an independent Pandora. Monies earned from the cooperative's monopoly on tourism on Pandora now keeps the outpost going. The expulsion of the RDA made headlines, and the allure of Pandora spread amongst the super-rich. This privileged class now pursued Pandora as their extreme tourist destination of choice. Neytiri and Jake negotiated the tourism agreement. Conditions included that the outpost be properly supplied and staffed by humans the Na'vi approved of. The number of tourists was also to be highly restricted and monitored. With the signing of the agreement, wealthy tourists began flowing through Pandora. Along with their money, the rich brought technological perks considered too luxurious or expensive by the RDA. Most notably of these was a massive orbital communications system which allowed for delay-free interstellar communications, a necessity for tycoons with scattered interstellar interests. The most expensive and lucrative tourist attraction is the opportunity to drive a prototype Navi avatar, one with no human DNA, engineered using the RDA's Navi DNA Bank. Even though the linkage between a human driver and the avatar can only be sustained for a maximum of 20 minutes at a time, the experience is highly sought after. And after 4 years of use, this single avatar has become one tough SOB. The human outpost provides Jake with the sole connection to the Interplanetary Union and keeps the autonomous planetary status process on track. In addition, the outpost provides Jake and the human staff with access to scientific and historical databases of Pandora, which they hope will enable them to solve the home tree enigma. Ideally, Jake wants to find an account of a clan overcoming a central catastrophe. While the outpost represents a means to the end for the Omaticaya, for Jake and Neytiri, the connection is personal. Unbeknownst to the other Navi, their reason for frequent human contact is the outpost's medical staff keeping Neytiri and her fetus alive. With strains of human DNA in Jake, a dormant, malignant human gene was inadvertently passed from him to Neytiri. Keeping the gene suppressed in Neytiri is an ongoing effort, requiring human medical expertise and technology until the birth of her baby, now just 2 months away. Jake and Neytiri's reprieve from their stressors come from being teachers to the younger generations. Spending time with his daughter Niatu is bliss for Jake. Exploring, tracking, and hunting with Niatu fills him with hope and motivates him to continue the fight for the Omaticaya and the APS. Jake cherishes every lesson and every excursion, knowing full well that Niatu will soon be ready to choose her Iklan and enter adulthood as a hunter. Niatu is already asserting her independence by choosing her own hunting parties and going on clandestine excursions. Her unconventional nature is also evident in her choice of companions. Wincy, a girl who is 3 years older than her, and Lukey, a boy 1 year older. The girl, Wincy, doesn't have arms, and Lukey is deaf and blind. Their disabilities were a result of injuries sustained during the destruction of the home tree. The girl was injured as a toddler, and the boy in the womb. The trio share a fierce bond of loyalty. Jake is full of pride as Niatu takes bold steps into adulthood, but he is also concerned that his willful daughter is distancing herself from the clan. Pressured by the elders, Jake and Neytiri confront Niatu, but their daughter reveals that she too is seeking a solution to the home tree problem. Niatu and her companions have come across a story of an ancient island clan consumed by a tsunami. The tale comes from a clan residing at the shore of a distant ocean, and while the shore clan had suffered losses from the tsunami, most have survived the disaster and tell the tale of the lost island clan. The story of the shore clan has been spreading because the clan is presently experiencing their own disaster, a mysterious collapse of its fishery. Word of the shore clan's tragedy reached Niatu on one of her distant journeys. She now wants to seek out the village of the shore clan to learn more about the decimated island clan. Jake and Neytiri are thrilled with Niatu's discovery. They decide that Jake will join Niatu and her companions on a journey to the shore clan. At the human outpost, where they will consult maps for the journey, they receive news that pro-Pandora lobbyists have scored a significant victory. Human sympathizers have been successful in filing a preliminary autonomous planetary status. The prerequisite of Jake being the official clan leader was circumvented. But in order to take advantage of their legal victory, Jake must immediately travel to the IU to be sworn in as the representative of Pandora and address the General Assembly. The timing is both good and bad. Good because the IU is at its closest trajectory in respect to Pandora. Bad because Jake will likely miss the birth of his second child. The trip to the IU would take 1 month, with the birth of his child expected sooner than that. With great consideration and anticipation, it is decided that Niatu and her companions will journey to the shore clan while Jake travels to the IU. Neytiri will remain at the outpost, continuing her treatments and monitoring Niatu's and Jake's progress. The family members excitedly part ways. Things are looking up. As Jake's transport ascends into the upper atmosphere, 3 galloping pali disappear into the jungle. Within the cryosleep chamber, Jake closes his eyes. The pali thunder out of the jungle and onto an open plain. The trio arrives at a half-empty village. Here they are warmly welcomed by a weary Navi clan, the same clan from the songs and stories. For now, however, the focus is on the clan's current predicament and not past fables. Examinations of washed-up carcasses reveal a large amount of red-gray silt in the gills and digestive tracts of the animals. Scientists at the outpost speculate that the tectonic activity which caused the tsunami many generations ago is active once again and disturbing a geological formation containing the toxic red-gray silt. The villagers believe they know the location of the tectonic fault, located beneath the ocean, a day's journey by boat. The scientists want Niatu to take a boat to the location of the fault to get samples. Ideally, they'd like to see what's going on beneath the surface. The villagers know of a clan skilled in deep-sea diving located 2 days' journey up the shore. The trio and 2 guides from the village set off to locate the clan. In the meantime, Jake has arrived at the Interplanetary Union. He is introduced to the human sympathizers eager to meet him and guide him through the process. For Jake, his days will be filled with following bureaucratic procedures. And at its conclusion, Jake will be allowed to officially address the assembly before the votes are tabled on Pandora's application. But Jake wants to address the assembly first. Surprisingly, permission is granted. The next morning, Jake, dressed in full tribal garb, steps out in front of the podium and addresses the assembly. I cannot speak alone for the whole of Pandora, but with this ally by my side, I believe I can. Jake points to the back of the assembly. A Navi male dressed in a 3-piece business suit makes his way to the front. His skin is gray-black. He towers over Jake as he joins him by the podium. Jake wakes up inside his cryo chamber. He looks at his hands, slim and frail. But something else isn't right. The chamber is moving, rolling, lights flickering. A sharp turn and Jake's entire body slams against the side, his head hitting the side window. A hand lifts a cover from the cryo chamber window and harsh light streams in. A man's face looks in, then yells, "He's awake! Go faster!" Before the window is covered again, Jake glimpses the cityscape outside, a jungle of enormous skyscrapers dulled by a gray haze dwarfing a Statue of Liberty. Jake squeezes his eyes shut.